Welcome to the Prayer Day and Night channel. Today we will reflect on a powerful message that has transcended the centuries and speaks directly to all of our hearts, Psalm 50. This psalm invites us to look within ourselves and recognize our shared humanity, our flaws, and most importantly, our constant need for reconciliation with God and with one another. Psalm 50 is a cry for justice and restoration. It teaches us that, no matter how imperfect and weak we may be, there is always a divine call for us to rise again. God does not abandon us in our mistakes. On the contrary, He calls us back, offering the opportunity to start anew, to be transformed by His love and mercy. This psalm is an invitation to reflection. How many times, in the rush of life, do we forget to stop and reconcile with God? It reminds us that this reconciliation does not depend on sacrifices or grand external gestures, but on a repentant heart, willing to return to the right path. In the message of Psalm 50, we learn that God is not pleased with empty offerings or mechanical rituals. What He truly seeks is a contrite heart, a sincere soul that humbly stands before Him, acknowledging its faults and asking for forgiveness. It is in this moment of vulnerability that we experience the true power of divine grace, and that is something deeply liberating. Knowing that God does not expect perfection, but rather a genuine relationship, allows us to relax and trust in His goodness. He loves us in the midst of our weaknesses and calls us to live a life of fullness, a life in communion with Him. But the message of Psalm 50 goes beyond our relationship with God. It also calls us to reconcile with our brothers and sisters. Often we carry grudges, resentments, and these prevent us from living in peace. God reminds us through this psalm that just as we seek forgiveness, we must also forgive. This is the true path to reconciliation, not only with God, but also with others. We are a community of believers, and harmony among us is essential for living the fullness of faith. It is impossible to truly love God without loving and forgiving our neighbor. As we reflect on this psalm, we are called to pray, to ask God for a clean heart, a renewed spirit, and the strength to forgive. When we do this, we feel the lightness of a soul at peace, both with the divine and with those around us. May the message of Psalm 50 resonate in our hearts today and always. May we constantly remember that even in our weaknesses, we are unconditionally loved by God. He calls us to reconciliation, to transformation, and to live a life of fullness in communion with Him and with our brothers and sisters. And it is not just about listening, but living the Word. Psalm 50 teaches us that our faith must be active, a faith that transforms us internally and is reflected in our actions toward the world around us. Each video is an opportunity to grow spiritually and apply the biblical teachings in our daily lives. That's why I invite you to make these moments of reflection a daily practice. If you felt God's touch while listening to this message, don't keep this experience to yourself. Share it with your friends, family, and all those who need to hear words of comfort and hope. Life is full of challenges, and we all go through moments of weakness. But remember, we are never alone. God's Word is our strength, our shield. And by seeking this reconciliation, as Psalm 50 teaches us, we find the peace we so desperately need amidst the tribulations. Just like the psalmist, we can cry out to God with all our hearts, knowing that He hears and welcomes us. That is why every prayer, every sincere plea holds transforming power. You can begin to experience that transformation today by putting into practice the lessons we've learned together. Stay connected with the Word. Don't let the distractions of the world drown out God's voice in your life. Follow our videos, pray with us, meditate on the Psalms, and together we will strengthen our faith day by day. In addition to the reflections, here on the Prayer Day and Night channel, you will also find powerful prayers, psalms for meditation, and content that will guide you in every step of your spiritual journey. This is the right place for you to recharge spiritually. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. By subscribing, you will be joining a faith community that supports each other, prays together, and grows spiritually day by day. Plus, by turning on notifications, you will always be the first to receive our messages of faith and inspiration. Leave a comment with your thoughts on this reflection about Psalm 50. Your opinion is very important to us, and we want to know how this message has impacted your life. Don't forget to also share your prayer intentions, as praying for one another strengthens our journey.